Mm-hmm. Well, and you moved because you said you wanted to change a lot of things, like you wanted to make a difference. And
Right.
now here's the essential question. Do you think you have more or less motivation to change things than when you were in Oklahoma? Now.
Right now, I see. More to change.
I think so as well. You are an extremely motivated individual.
Dude, I try, man. Lord knows I try, but but yeah, cause my purpose is set. It's again, success. I think part of what defines our success and our fulfillment right now is that we can look back and see the things that we lost. Is now that's part of our aim too. It's not just what we want to be or who we want to be with, but like where we want to be. And
like why we're doing this and where the destination is, right?
Yeah.
Like not the physical destination, but like kind of the figurative or like the destination of where we want to go in our lives. And I think the physical destination that we're at and like kind of jumping back and forth between different places physically, it kind of gets you closer to that goal that you have, or like the set of goals that you have, right?
Yeah, like you get to see a lot for sure, and that helps you better determine, okay, this is what I want, this is what I need to be,
right?
This
like
is what I have.
Whenever you get like different perspectives on something, then you can clarify your vision of like what you want. Because like when you're at one place and it's like you have like kind of like a rough goal maybe, or like a rough set of goals, like things that you want, you have desires. But then when you move and you get like a perspective from like many different like ways of thinking, because whenever you move places, like your perspective shifts a little bit, right? So like whenever you can get more perspectives and look at your trajectory and like the end of your trajectory, like where the end destination is, right? Which, by the way, is something that if you set your goals right, you'll never reach your destination, but there is a destination to be reached. It's just we don't have enough time in our lives to do that. But you can clarify your vision and your desires and what you really want, and then eventually you'll get to a point where it's clear enough to where you can write it on paper and be like, this is what I want, this is what I want to accomplish. And moving, what it does is it allows you to just look at the same object from different angles. It's like, when you look at the moon, like you can only see one side of it, but then if you look at it from a different place on the earth or a different time of the year, then you can see all different sides of the moon and you can understand the moon better. And in this context, like the moon is like your goal. And whenever you know what's on the moon and like what it's like, all you want to do is get closer to it. And then that's the kind of motivation that people, who landed on the moon, like NASA stuff, several decades ago, there was a goal that people had and they pursued that goal. And I think that observing the moon is something that people have done for a long time, and landing on it is just like this seemingly unachievable goal. But the more you study the moon, the more your desire to get to the moon increases, right?
Right, like one thing fuels another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just compulsion, just compulsion to the max.
Yeah, you definitely have to be a little bit obsessed in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be obsessed. You got to be into what you're doing, and you got to choose the things that you really want to do.
Yeah.
And so, like, our recommendation, to anyone who's listening is, if you are in a place in the world where you have been for a while. You've been there your entire life, right? You're in like a small village, like a small town. Move, try it. If you don't know what your goals are and you feel like you lack purpose at this moment, then move somewhere. Because I promise you won't forget it. You won't regret it. You will eventually find something that you want to do, or a set of things that you want to do. And if you move and you expose yourself to failure and pain by doing so, you will eventually be hungry for success, and you'll just be motivated as, like kind of like GSP, George St. Pierre said. A hungry lion. You become like a hungry lion that pursues its prey, and that's kind of what you become whenever you move, and you get this motivation from doing so. Is you're like a hungry lion that just really, really, really wants to get that goal, that prey, and you just relentlessly pursue that. And moving is something that just aids in that hunger, that desire to achieve your goals and be successful.
Right. Yeah, man. For sure.
Mm-hmm. So, and like Danny and I both obviously have goals, things that we want to accomplish. And what do you think? Do you think that moving has clarified your vision of what you want? Do you think you want to move back to the US? Do you think you place more weight on going back to the US, or like being in the US, than when you were actually in Oklahoma, now that you've moved back to Portugal?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think I definitely do, man. Because it all goes back to like valuing the way you value what you left. I think no
Left
disrespect to what I have here, of course, man.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
It's I think I think I never wanted to leave.
Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah, like I came because I came to Portugal. I came back to Portugal for one, because my visa was expiring, and two, because I thought there's a greater purpose here for me, and
because you were excited about moving back to Portugal at one point.
Yeah, and like I still think, look, I'm glad it's Portugal and not like some some other place that's also like foreign, but that's in a ton of troubling circumstances.
I see. Yeah, you're grateful that you're in Portugal of all places. There are worse places in the world, right, to be.
Yeah, which as we're talking about moving, and it's definitely important to be aware of like where you move to. It's something you will profit from, not just some like random shit, I guess. That's the way I want to put it. But
I mean that's a good point though. Because when I was in Argentina for like half a year, it was just like seeing. Like I had never been so grateful to live in the U.S. than whenever I spent that half year in Argentina. Which Argentina is really, really great, but if I were trying to pursue my goals that I have right now in Argentina, life would be a lot more difficult.
Right.
Things wouldn't go smooth.
But there you go. Like it took you leaving the U.S. to go to Argentina to realize that of all of these good things about the U.S. that
right,
maybe you took for granted, before, and yeah, like
absolutely, I took it for granted. As a matter of fact, I hated being in the U.S. Prior to that.
Right. Yeah. Like Yeah, the same with me. Like, there are things that I took for granted about Portugal when I was in Oklahoma, and vice versa. So, like right now, I have a very clear idea of what I want, and like where I want to be. You know.
And shit, dude. Like if we didn't move, like both of us, right? Like you to Portugal and me to California. This wouldn't exist.
Nope. No, not at all.
This podcast would not exist. The Broklahomies podcast would not exist. This is like a distillation of, or not distillation, but it's like the first step that we're taking towards accomplishing our goals is that we made this podcast, and this podcast came out of just desire to achieve our goals, you know. And part of that is to, you know, like a big part of that is helping everyone else achieve their goals. Because the thing is, like, you know, like we've gone through a lot of these different things where like failure, loneliness from, you know, like not being around our friends, you know, all these things. And we're like, we definitely want to help other people achieve and realize their goals, you know, and that's why we do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. I think we've all been there. Like, yeah. Yeah, man.
And moving has done that. Like moving to other places and traveling and like looking at like everything from a bigger perspective. That really has changed our vision of what we want to do, and definitely like amplified our motivation, and just gave us that fuck you energy that we need. You know. What was it the way we put it? To give life the middle finger and roll with the punches. It just gives you that fuck you energy.
That's right, man. That's right. Yeah, man. That exposure, man. All that exposure to the new, to the different. It's just it changes you.
And so, like let's talk about like how we would actually go about doing like a moving process. Like, I mean, I could cover this, but you know, like whenever I moved to California, you know, so just to give perspective, I was working at the Apple store at the time in Oklahoma City. I was making, you know, pretty good money actually. I was living comfortably. Like I could go out for drinks every night. Not like every night, but like, you know, a couple days a week. And, you know, I could even like get my friends drinks once in a while too, you know, because I'm like, oh yeah, like you're still in college and you're a college student and you're not making much money, so here, let me get you a Moscow Mule or something, you know. I could do that. Right. I had that luxury, but I didn't feel like I was pursuing my goals the way I should, and I didn't even know what my goals, quote unquote, were. Like what I wanted to achieve. I just knew I wanted to do something, you know, and I didn't have an idea. And then that's when I got this offer to work in California on this contract. And I said, that's a stupid idea. I shouldn't move to California. I have everything that I need here. I'm comfortable, you know. Like I was in a pretty good place. I had an apartment. I had friends, but I felt, and I thought about it some more. Thought about that offer some more. My friends also the same thing too. I'm like, yeah, my friends agree with me, so why should I? But then, you know, like I'm looking at my life, and you know, I'm making good money, and I'm on paper I'm happy, but I felt really unfulfilled. Like I was trapped, you know, like I couldn't get out of where I was. And
like in a cage. Yeah.
Absolutely. I felt like I was a bird in a cage. And
you'll never get it.
It's a reference to Borat, right?
Yeah.
But you know, and then conveniently life threw me an out. Like life was like, here's your ticket to get out of the cage. Like, right. I have opened the cage for you. And I looked at it, and I started to, like, the more I thought about it, the more I realized, shit, this is the out. This is the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I realized that, and I was like, I really don't want to do this. It seems counterintuitive. I don't want to go. I don't want to leave my friends. I don't want to do this. But I know that I would regret it if I don't. Right. And I know that I'm going to get something out of this. And it took a tremendous amount of faith. I don't know what I believed in. I don't know like what it was that like gave me this faith, but I knew that I would not regret the decision moving to California. And so, I had maybe $3,000 in savings, which is not much for California, by the way. If you're moving to California, save more like $5,000.
Yeah.
It's just not very much money at all, and live frugally and make sure that, and it's better if you have friends there. When I moved to California, I didn't have any friends, so it's really nice if you have like a friend or two in the area that you're moving to. So it's also very, very important. Getting an apartment or somewhere that you can live close to your job. Like you want to try to get a job before you get there as well. Not a requirement, but highly, highly recommended. Right. So what you want is like, you want, like contacts, like people that can help you when you get there, like a support group, you want a job if you can. And then you also want a savings. I think those are the things that you want, but I promise, even if you don't want to stay at the place that you moved to, you will appreciate the place that you moved from, if you do move. And, I'm proof of that. Danny is proof of that.
Yep.
So, I mean, for you, Danny, like, what was it like whenever you moved to, I don't know, move back? Which one do you think was a bigger change? Moving back to Portugal or moving from Portugal?
Moving from Portugal, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting into, fully getting into when I landed in at Will Rogers,
Oklahoma. Will Rogers Airport, Oklahoma City.
Fucking first night in Oklahoma. Staying the fucking Super 8.
Super 8, the fucking motel. Oh yeah.
That was an eye opener right there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then those first weeks were crazy, man, because freshman initiation thing, whatever.
Right, yeah.
The whole earn your wings thing.
On campus, yeah. Actually, that's a good question. It's like, if you're gonna go and move somewhere for college, what do you think that you should have, or what do you think like you should expect, or like what should you prepare? How should you prepare for that?
It's a good question. Prepare. I would say like prepare for everything. Like prepare to, life in the dorm.
Be unprepared. Prepare to be unprepared.
Prepare to be very flexible.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like expect that you're never gonna be that you're not gonna be prepared for what's gonna come whenever you go to college.
Right. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Because.
Or when you move to a different college.
Especially if you're a foreigner, like there's gonna be a lot thrown at you in a very little space of time.
Right.
And so yeah, just like I said, man, it's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be scary. It's gonna be new. It's just try to make the most out of it, and be ready. You need to be ready for that. You need to be like on your feet and.
It's like mentally prepare yourself to expose yourself to a lot of pain and a lot of negative emotions. It's like you know that it's going to be negative. A lot of the things that's going to happen to you are going to be negative, but the journey is like deeply meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and the pain, the painful things, that's what is gonna make the good things, the fun things, like more fun and better and more meaningful, as you said. Like, so it's what it's kind of what makes it worthwhile. It's the bad things make
the pain is kind of like it's what grows you as a person. That's what really cultivates your character and lets you be more than you've been before. You know, it's what pushes you forward is the pain and like the hardships that you go through. And moving is just like an accelerated process of that, because you're exposing yourself to a lot of new things, and quite literally moving and like what the pain that you experience while you're moving is like a growing pain. It's a growing pain.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of adaptation required.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, I think that about sums up the podcast episode for today. Follow us on Instagram at Broklahomies Podcast, at BROKLAHOMIES Broklahomies Podcast. It'll be in the description of every platform that we post our podcast to. Also find us on Facebook, because we've been doing a lot over there too. Twitter is also Broklahomies. It's just BROKLAHOMIES. And yeah, I mean, that's the last thing I got to say. Danny? Biblion, maybe?
Great. What?
Biblion, maybe? Plug Biblion?
Yeah, man. We are coming up with a compilation of our best articles and posts on our website.
Oh, that's right.
We'll be making that available real soon for you. And yeah, follow us on social media as well at BiblionMag. That's BiblionMag.
Is that for Instagram or is that for just all platforms?
That's for all platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Ooh, that's good.
That's all. We own it.
Awesome. Own Biblion. Cool. Well, thanks guys for listening, and we hope to have you on the next podcast. Tune in for more, and feel free to give us feedback on any of our social media, and we'll do our best to fit your guys' needs.